Yo, fam. Sixers live reactions. 2 minutes left. Sixers are down 3. Let's go.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored. They did it.
Left.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah.
What the fuck are you talking about?
What is up, fam? As always, welcome to another edition of Fan Friday. Going to be giving you a little bit of a different look here. Obviously, Tom Arnone isn't here tonight. He's at the Sixers game right now. Sixers are down 2 points, 107-105 to the New Orleans Pelicans. 139 left in the game. Got a jam-packed show for you tonight. Obviously, our Sixers live reactions post-game, and as well as, obviously, if you watched our draft show last week, we'll be giving our Eagles draft grades and kind of breaking down the draft a little bit. Obviously, I know everyone else has really broken it down every which way you can, but that's kind of the perks of being like the last kind of show during the week. You get to absorb everyone's information and then kind of break it down with your own opinion. So, as always, got a jam-packed show. Jake Friel, there we go. Pete, John, right down there. What's up, boys? How we doing?
Doing good.
Good.
Ask me in 39.
As always, before we get into it, we got to pay the bills. We are brought to you by our sponsor, eXp Realty. Looking to buy or sell a home? Looking to change in career brokerage? Contact our guy, Alan Foy, at eXp Realty at 302-682-8820. Or visit him on the web, alan.foy at exprealty.com. And our poll question for tonight, the 76ers will win the rest of their regular season games this season. Agree or disagree? Depending on how this game goes. Oh, there's a shot from Embiid. He missed it, of course. Sixers are up 109-107 right now. I mean, right now with the remainder of their schedule, I'm going to agree. Obviously, I could be wrong, which wouldn't be the first time me being wrong with depending on how this game goes. I think we're 33 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Sixers are up. There goes John. There goes Pete. Big surprise. But 33 seconds left. Sixers are up 109-107 to the Pelicans.
I'm like a second behind here.
Yeah, I know. You're streaming.
I'm streaming it.
But John, to the poll question, the 76ers will win the rest of their regular season games. Agree or disagree?
I'm going to say disagree, but the reason I'm saying disagree is I don't think we're going to win every game. I think we're going to go – I'm optimistic we can go 5-1, and we can go 6-0. I think we have 6 games left if that happens. But I feel like the Sixers are going to continue their run. Hopefully we can get this one tonight. We're going to continue their run, and then once we clinch, they're just going to sit everyone for the last couple games, and we might lose one there.
Yeah, I mean, that wouldn't shock me either, depending on, obviously, where we are in the conference and how that's going. I mean, the Brooklyn Nets right now, I think they're on a 4-game losing streak, correct? So we're up 2.5 games right now. We're in a, I don't want to say comfortable position because anything can happen these last couple games. But, I mean, right now, the Sixers are looking hot. We're looking good. So Joel Embiid has 37 points right now, playing at MVP caliber form tonight. And, of course, it's when Tom's there, his son has to show up for his dad. So,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, but before Pete's internet had to kick him off, Pete, to the poll question: the 76ers will win the rest of their regular season games. Agree or disagree?
I say no, because I could just see them probably just resting some of their guys for one of the remainder games. I feel like you'll have probably everything in hand against Brooklyn, and you might not even need to play a game or two.
Right.
So yeah, I could 100% see them throwing in the towel towards the end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's kind of what I said, really.
Ooh, big turnover for the Sixers. 19.2 seconds left. Big mistake by the Pelicans.
Oh, we stole the ball? All right, good.
Yeah, Lonzo had a nice pass, but who would? Ooh, I don't know if that's out of bounds. I don't know. but it went right to Embiid, so that's our ball. All right, what do we have here? 19.2 seconds left in the fourth quarter. Sixers are up 109-107. It's always what I feel like whenever we go live or whenever we have like a live reaction show, it's always like a close game right at the end.
Yeah,
for whatever reason.
I mean, remember like a couple weeks ago, we had the Pelicans game on a Friday. We were away at the Pelicans and we blew it at the end. So
right.
Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, they're reviewing the play right now. It doesn't look like the ball touched out of bounds.
I
mean,
thought
fam at home, let us know. But I mean, from what we're seeing, obviously we're seeing what you guys are seeing if you're watching on TV right now.
What's up, Jimmy?
What's up, Jimmy?
Sup?
Yeah, I mean, did the ball touch? No, it didn't touch out of bounds. Definitely didn't touch out of bounds. It went right to Embiid. Should be our ball.
Jump ball.
There you go.
Yeah,
Lonzo versus Embiid jump ball. Let's make it happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah,
Jesse.
Jesse. Either way, yeah, it's Sixers ball. Obviously,
Oh yeah, that's
unless the refs are blind, which
well.
Wouldn't be the first time.
Yeah.
To
exactly.
quote my favorite Sixers saying from the stadium, "I'm blind, I'm deaf, I wanna be a ref."
Yep. Mhm. Pretty much. But it's just whenever we go live, it's always something. Like I swear, it's always something. Like whatever live show it may be when we do these live reaction shows, it's always close. It's always something at the edge. But again, that makes for good radio, so you can't really complain.
Embiid getting hurt live on air.
Don't do that to me. Don't do that to me.
Saying it happened. I'm not.
Yeah, we had a prayer service. I'm aware, but I don't want that to happen, Pete. In the last 19.2 seconds of this basketball game.
It was the power of prayer.
But it's
too bad the power of prayer couldn't give him an MVP.
Yeah, I mean, that I don't really care. Again, it would have been nice for Joel to have an MVP, but at the same time, I'd rather see him win a finals more than anything, or a finals MVP.
Do you agree with what Nick Wright said? That if Jokic wins MVP, he'll be the worst MVP in 25 years.
No,
I don't agree. Because Jokic has played really well.
Here's the thing, though. Like, I can understand what I don't like his point at all. But what he's trying to say is the players that have won MVP before him are better players in their careers. That's what he's trying to say. But like,
right.
Jokic's season is all-time great, like offensively, as far as offensive rating, as far as assists for a big man. Like, he's had the most assists in a season since Wilt in like the 66, 67 season or something like that. So I just think that comment was really like you haven't been watching. You're just looking at who's leading the MVP poll, and you see, oh, it's Jokic. It's not a big name player, and you're going to say, all right, he's not Kobe, he's not LeBron, he's not KD. It's just.
Mm-hmm.
I also think he just likes Embiid, and he knows that Embiid winning MVP is just good for the league.
I mean, I would agree with that. I don't know if Nick Wright's the biggest Embiid fan, but
I think he just likes what he brings more than what Jokic brings, as far as like notoriety and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
like,
but
there's nothing against Jokic. Joker's an amazing player. There's just nothing sexy about him. There's no star power. Embiid is a walking, talking star.
Right.
I'm not even paying attention to the Flyers, so if we went 3 for 3, I wouldn't even know.
We're still playing?
I mean, I was pissed that the Flyers were even on TV and the Phillies were on the stupid MLB app. Like,
oh man, don't let the Flyer fans hear you say that. They'll be outside.
I'll let them hear it. I mean, as far as the Flyers' opinions for me it goes, we better be tanking the entire season next year and trying to get the number 1 overall pick. Otherwise, we're going to be back to doing all this nonsense.
Is it safe to say the Flyers are the Knicks of the NHL? Where they haven't really...
the Knicks were like a level of garbage that the Flyers have never been. Like, the Flyers are mediocre, which is what's so annoying about them.
Here's my argument is that they haven't really been relevant, like title-wise, since like the 70s. And like they've had moments, they've had eras where they've been solid, but like nothing substantial.
Oh, well, I mean, that's a fair point. Like, the Flyers are like an original 6 or 8. Like, I mean, I know they were one of the first 8 teams, I believe, the first 6, and then the Flyers were the first expansion with the Penguins, so they were the 8th team in the NHL. And
Right.
I feel like a lot of NHL fans look at us as like a storied franchise, even though we haven't been to the Cup. We haven't won a Cup in 45 years.
So 14 seconds left. Tobias has the ball. 109-107 Sixers. Uh-oh. Hold on. Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, God, don't
Hold
scare
on.
me.
Uh-oh.
I don't like your uh-ohs, Jake.
Is that a turnover by Tobias?
No.
Uh-oh.
No.
Oh, no.
All right, can we
Don't do this to me. 10.7 left. Whose ball is it? See,
Tobias, what are we doing, Tobias?
Jesus. 10.7 left. Sixers are still up 109-107.
They call foul?
I don't know what I'd see. This is the disadvantage that we have to where, or at least I have. I can't have audio on because I don't want it getting to the microphone. But I guess I called the timeout. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, God forbid anything crazy happens within the last 10 seconds of the game. The Sixers look like they have this in hand, but we'll see. Depending on if this is the Sixers' ball or not, I'm not sure.
Please, can it be their ball?
Frank says he agrees to the poll. I mean, again, wouldn't be the first time I'm wrong. But if they lose this game, obviously the poll goes in the toilet.
Yeah, Jesse, that's my big point about it too. The Flyers have had much bigger periods of success recently than the Knicks.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from there. But you're also talking about still we make fun of the Knicks and whatever. It's still a storied franchise, and people have their loyal fans and stuff like that.
I don't know if the Knicks I would say the Knicks are definitely the number one team in New York based off of fans. But as far as them being a storied franchise in the NBA, I could name 7 franchises that are more storied than the Knicks.
Oh, sure.
Either the Sixers even are a more relevant franchise than the Knicks.
Yeah, that's a good point. All right, so okay, Pelicans ball, 5, 4, pass. Uh-oh, loose ball. There we go. That'll do it.
Seconds call. That's
there
what
we
they
go. Loose ball recovery. Joel Embiid. Sixers win 109-107. Great win. They were up early. They kind of lost the lead towards the end of the game, but at the end of the day, they came out with a win. So that's huge. And the Nets don't play again tonight, correct? The Pelicans.
No.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
The Bucks are playing the bum Rockets though. So
okay, that makes sense. Yeah, but let's see here. It was a loose ball recovered by Tobias and then handed to Embiid, and that's what do you call that? That's a game right there. Yeah, who was that?
7.
What's that? 7 in a row, Pete?
7 in a row since Ben's came back to the lineup.
Yeah. Joel Embiid finishes tonight, 37 points.
kind of just
100% from the free throw line, which is nice to see. Which again, free throws should be a given anyway. But again, so let's see. Let's go over the whole
260. And he's that good at free throws. It amazes me every time I watch it.
Notice how Doc put in George Hill or the closing lineup. I think we're going to see that a lot in the playoffs.
Yeah, we might. Again, I think we're going to see a lot of kind of different changing in lineups towards the end of games, at least the rest of the remainder of this season, just so Doc could probably test out different lineups, see who works with who and what works with what. But we'll see.
You honestly, I don't even think this is a shot at Ben or anything. Hill needs every chance he gets. And this game basically means nothing. So throwing George Hill out there to see how he can do in a situation like this, I have no issue with whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
You need to get him crucial minutes. And if Ben has to miss the end of a meaningless game for George Hill to get some tick or for George Hill to get some big moment plays, I'm good.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. No, I completely hear you. But let's break it down a little bit. Tobias Harris, 17 points. Ben Simmons, 8 points, which, again, it's Ben Simmons, but we're playing him more now for defense, I feel, than anything.
You know what I like about that? I was kind of upset with Ben, not even about the scoring recently, but because we all know that he has the ability to be an elite passer. Mm-hmm. I've been seeing a whole lot of 3 assists, 4 assist games, a whole lot of 2 assist games sometimes. Like he'll sprinkle in a 7 here or there, but I love the fact that he had over 10 assists tonight. Yeah. I think that really shows us something.
Yeah, over the last 5 games, his assist to turnover ratio has been astounding. Mm-hmm. And look, you can say what you want about his shooting. Like, I think he's going to give you 13 to 16 in the playoffs. But for me, the most important thing for Ben is his defense, and I need him to create opportunities for his teammates while limiting turnovers.
Yeah, and again, we haven't really seen Ben have an issue with that. What I want from Ben, though, and I think a lot of us are going to say this, is the playoffs get closer and closer. I need him at least to score. Give me like 12, 15 a night during the playoffs, and I'm fine. I can get 12 to 15 from Ben every night in the playoffs, then I'm going.
I'm going to be really excited for it because all I've heard all year round is nothing he does matters because it's not in the playoffs. Like, because once they walk into the Eastern Conference Finals, I don't really give a flying fuck about what anyone has to say because that's their whole argument. Well, we can't get past the second round of the playoffs because of Ben. And once they do that.
Well, here's the thing. If we play, what it looks like right now, if we play the Hornets in the first round and then we beat them, we play the Hawks in the second round, we beat them, and we lose in the third round to a real team, that doesn't mean Ben is clear of criticism.
No,
criticism is about him showing up in big games against good teams. He can show up against the Hawks. We all know that. We all know what he can do. So if the Sixers end up drawing that, I'll be so happy that we got that from our hard work in the regular season. But I'm also going to say, all right, we now made the Eastern Conference Finals. What are we going to do when we play a real team?
Yep. It depends on how it works out for me. Like, if we get blanked 4 games to none, that's a serious dive into what's going on. If we lose in a 7-game series to the Bucks or the Nets, I feel really, really good about this season, and even more so heading into next season with young building players like Paul Reed, Maxey, Isaiah Joe, and whatever Morey can do with a full off season.
Yeah.
What's up, Ryan?
What up?
What's up, Wills? Yeah, no, that's a good point. And Wilson brings it up here. I disagree. The poll will we'll lose the last game of the year after we have the first seed locked up and we sit everyone. Yeah, no. If that's the case,
and that's what John has basically said.
Yeah, no, and that's an absolute fair point, and that's what I picture happening. But we'll see. And also, really quick, because my Bleacher Report just updated, Flyers beat the Caps 4-2, even though they're out of the playoffs.
And also, Alec Boehm had his second hit of the night, second RBI, so that was good to see.
There you go. And for the non-Adubel fans, Adubel did have a home run tonight.
I won't air my anger on air.
Yeah, no, and there's going to be people that just aren't fans of Adubel because of that, and I completely understand it. Let's see. Marky215 also says, honestly, Ben is the reason we got back into the game. He passed to every 3 we got when we were fighting back. Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's going to be big for us come playoff time.
Like, this is going to be hard for certain people to understand. And like, because obviously, look, we're not playing the greatest teams, obviously, but you're playing who's on your schedule. Mm-hmm. And Ben has impacted this team immensely since coming back. We've won 7 straight. I don't care what you have to say, how we've done it. We've won those games. Mm-hmm. Everyone's like, oh, he's not really making a difference. I said, we went 0-4 beforehand. Like, we played some decent teams, then we played some bad teams as well. Like, he impacts the game. Like, people, like, you can love him or you hate him. Like, people were literally telling me, oh, see, we'd be a much better team if, George Hill started at point guard. We'd be such a better basketball team.
Yeah.
That's the thing, though. Like, people that say take Ben Simmons off the floor, we are better without him. Like, that's obviously not the case. But when people like me and people that don't believe in Ben Simmons when it comes to the playoffs, say we might be better off exploring a trade. That's with me knowing that when we trade him, we're not getting nothing. We're getting something back. We're getting something that's going to help the team. We're not just going to ship him off for nothing, and then we're going to have a zero at point guard. We're obviously going to be getting a quality player.
See, I'm the first ever pansexual, so I feel I can discuss this. But like people are like, oh, you're to this and that with Ben. I said, I love him. I would trade him for the right guy. I would trade him. Dame, if Portland's like, hey, we'll swap out Damian Lillard for him. You know what? It would hurt, but I'm cool. I love it.
For me.
Dame time, baby. Dame time. That's what I want. I want a big time player for Ben because everyone was like, oh, he's not good. I said, really? He was good enough to almost land you James Harden, and he was good enough to almost land you Kawhi Leonard. All these big name teams want to trade big name players for him. If he sucks ass like everyone and their mother claims he is, why is he such a big trade piece?
Well,
with all of these moves.
Well, we'll see. We'll see if a trade actually happens because the Rockets did turn him down. The Rockets did say no.
There's a reason they said no.
We get the whole thing with Morey, right? But we don't know for a fact that the Blazers would want Ben. We're just saying that as Sixers fans that we think that, like me as a Sixer fan and as an NBA fan, follow all the teams pretty heavily. I would think that the Blazers, if they have a first-round exit or let alone they don't even make the playoffs, as an owner, I would look at that and be like, all right, something's not up. Something's not right here. We've been trying this for 4 or 5 years. Maybe we should switch up. And if we can convince them to send us Dame for Ben and maybe we would have to throw 3-4 first-round picks, then, yes, that would be an awesome trade. But I don't really know if the Blazers are going to do that.
Yeah, I'm not going to –
I'm talking about, like, I need a star quality player. I'm not trading Ben Simmons for like Jordan Clarkson and calling it a day.
Well, no one's going to do that. But like the thing that we might be able to realistically look at and say, okay, what are we going to get for Ben? Maybe a star isn't on the table anymore. But like, let's say we want to trade him because he underperformed in the playoffs. If he did good in the playoffs, we're not going to trade him. So that means his trade value will go down.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about. I'm not even contemplating talking about trading Ben right now. Yeah, I'm not even that. Again, if we get swept in the playoffs or something like that, and Ben just struggles, okay, I'll have that conversation then. But right now, I'm worried about getting to the finals, winning some series in the postseason. That's all I care about right now. If we get swept in the first round, and Ben struggles, scores 0 points, doesn't add anything to this offense in the postseason, okay, then I'll talk about trading him. But right now, no.
I'm driving to the airport. That happens, I'll drive him to the airport myself.
Yeah, I'm not talking about trading Ben right now.
Well, as far as that situation, like if we don't make the conference finals, I think he's gone. Like that's just
I agree. I agree with that. But
I don't know.
We've been to the second round over and over again. We need to progress and show some improvement here. We brought Doc in because he's supposed to be better than Brett Brown. He's supposed to get us there. Okay.
Yeah,
so
we lose to the Hawks in the second round. I'm the biggest Ben Simmons fan. I'm really doing a deep dive into what I need to do with this team. Yeah, whether it's trading Ben, whether it's trading Tobias, I will look at all avenues. But that's only if a second round exit were to happen.
Yeah.
For me to trade Ben, I either need a massive fuck up in round 2 or a complete letdown in round 3. I don't think either of those two are happening. I think he's going to give me exactly what, maybe not what other people want, but I think he's going to give me exactly what I need and do what he's supposed to do to help this team win.
Yeah, and Sarah 84 says it best here. Doc isn't thinking about life without Ben Simmons, and I completely agree. Because I just don't see.
I think he looks at Ben as a ball of clay he can just mold with him and Sam Cassell. I'm sure he looks at him in the first year and be like, I had a lot of great things I saw and some not great things. I want year 2 with me and Sam working with Ben and seeing what we can do with him.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why I don't think it's going to happen, because you have a new coach, new system, new coaches, and these guys still need time to, build chemistry together. They still need time to build chemistry together. Because if you look back, every season going back, we've had constant turnover.
Yep.
If you give these guys a complete offseason to work together, whew.
Marky, this is my issue though with what you're saying. I get what you're saying about Joel needs Ben, Ben needs Joel, and you think that means they're not going anywhere. But if we lose early, way earlier than expectations, because this team's expectations are the Eastern Conference Finals or bust. There's no other way around it because we're the 1 seed. We put ourselves in this position. Second round's not good enough. First round's not good enough. Hell no. And if that happens, we Ben fans, Ben haters alike, how are we going to make this team better? What other major trade piece do we have on this roster that could instantly change this team to make it better? The only one is Ben. We're not trading Joel.
I'm literally Ben Simmons' personal defense lawyer at this point, but he has me on retainer. And I'm willing to say, if we don't make it past the second round, and as much as I love him, I'm willing to entertain trades. And if I'm saying this, me, his number one cheerleader, basically, then it needs to be seriously discussed. But once again, I'll cross that bridge, much like Jake will, when we get to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I'm not even.
I think we can officially stop with the talk right now because I know people getting all upset. We just want to.
And Flip says Sixers are fine right now.
We're just talking. These are possible scenarios that could happen down the line. They're things we're not going to worry about until the off season. Right now, it's playoff time, and we're walking that ass to the Eastern Conference Finals. Let's go, son.
Yeah, no.
Put Dominic's comment up. Put Dominic's comment up about Ben, the first one. All right,
this is ridiculous.
That right there.
No one's worth the money they're getting if your name is not LeBron James, Steph Curry, or Kevin Durant. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
No one in the NBA is worth their money.
I'm upset with the fact that Ben is not a number one option because we drafted him to be a number one option, the number one overall pick, right? I'm upset about that. But it is what he is. He is what he is. We just won a game. I'm not going to say, 8 points, that's it. If we lost, maybe I would say that. But we won, so.
Yeah, no.
Sometimes, and I know people hate to see this. Sometimes you're not Michael. I know we all want everyone to be Michael. Everyone wants to be Michael Jordan. And I get that. Sometimes you got to be Scottie fucking Pippen. And you know what? Being Scottie Pippen ain't that bad.
It's a Hall of Famer.
Mm-hmm. Listen. If we get
world champion,
and if we end up winning a championship or getting to the finals, I don't think anyone's complaining.
For sure.
I think we'll be perfectly. I think we'll be perfectly fine.
Honestly, no offense, Dom. That's literally like one of the most ridiculous comments, and it's not. I'm not even just talking about you saying it. I hear it all the time. It's like, well, he's not worth his money. It's the NBA. There's like 3 goddamn players in the whole league who are worth their money. LeBron is so good, he should be getting paid triple what he's getting paid. Don't talk to me. Don't talk to me about players who deserve. Guys who deserve it don't get paid what they deserve, and guys who don't get overpaid. It is what it is. This is what this league is. Guys get paid what the market sets. If the market sets the price, you're going to get paid that way.
Exactly. We're in a league where Luke Kennard makes $20 million a year. So,
Marky. Thank you, Marky. It's not about the points. It's not always about the points. Thank you. We don't win the game without him, and that's a fact. Plain and simple.
Ben is a player to where if you just look at the box score and that's the way you're discussing it, you're like, oh man, he only had 8 points. He had a bad game. You're not watching the game. Honestly, I get it's not sexy from time to time, his stats and everything. But if you watch these last 7 games and you're just giving me box score stats, you're not watching the games. I know you're not watching the games because you're not watching with your eyes. You're just looking at that box score, and because it's not jumping out as like a 30 or a 40-point game every game, it's like, well, he didn't make an impact. You're on drugs if you don't think he made an impact in these games.
No, absolutely. And Christopher says it really well. I disagree. Even if we win, they'll still talk. Yeah, exactly. They'll still criticize Ben. Ben's just like that target.
Ben is like people can love or hate Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons has been the most criticized athlete since he walked into this era. He sucked because he didn't want to work out. He sucked because he didn't want to play on the Olympic team. He sucked because of Rookie of the Year. he sucks because his brother worked out with him. You know, he sucks because he dated Caitlyn or Kylie Jenner, and you know he wants to be
Kendall.
an guy.
Kendall, don't get it all messed up.
I don't care. They're all the same.
All right, Caitlyn, don't do that to Ben. All right, come on.
He likes a little flavor.
Dominic. Look, I agree with the fact that I'm disappointed with the fact that he's not living up to a number 1 overall pick, but tonight
he's
I think
3-time All-Star, 2-time third-team All-NBA, and he's probably going to win Defensive Player of the Year. I understand being like maybe he's not living up to the points that you asked him to, but in 3 years, in 4 years, 3 All-Stars, third-team All-NBA, and Defensive Player of the Year. Like, what more could you have asked for a player his first 4 years in the league, other than like winning an MVP or winning a chip?
Well, a lot of fans nationally, I think, and this is something that I don't like about the national stance on the Sixers. Maybe it has to do with the process, but those early years, I mean, when the Sixers lost in Ben Simmons' second year in Game 7 to the champions of the league, the Raptors, and Embiid's third year, you would have thought the sky was falling. You would have thought these guys were 7-year vets and they just lost in the second round. And people
they hated each other. Don't you know that? They hate each other. They'll never
hated each other,
Yeah, exactly. People don't realize
they don't even want to pass the ball to each other.
In a league where Michael Jordan didn't make it out the first round until he was like 5 years in the league.
1-7, Johnny. 1-7.
Is that what it was? 1-7?
He was 1-7 before Pippen showed up.
Exactly. Well, he didn't win a title until his 9th year. So it takes time to win championships.
Everyone who loves – because everyone loves the points, right? Michael Jordan was putting up 30-plus a game, winning scoring titles left and right, but getting his butt cheeked in the playoffs.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the issue is, and don't get me wrong, I think the Steph Curry effect really affected everyone's kind of view on the league because during that whole era when Steph Curry was the guy, and I mean he still is the guy, he's still a fantastic player, but I'm talking about like 2016 Steph Curry when he was just automatic. I think that would, in my opinion, I think that hurt the league because everyone's focusing on points now. Everyone wants to have a pretty have a pretty shot, and just shoot threes all day, and that's not what the game's about. That's just not what the game's about.
I buy into the fact that what Marky said about him playing a role. I'll buy into that, and I'll temper my disappointment, my criticism of Ben when we're winning. Right. When we're losing, no. As simple as that. Like that's fine. That's cool. And Dominic said all-star in the league doesn't mean anything. In my opinion, I don't think this is really disputable. Tobias should have been an all-star from the Sixers. Ben does not deserve to be an all-star this season. They gave it to him purely because of his name. That's it. And I really didn't.
I think he deserved to be. I think.
No, he did.
Oh yeah, I think he deserved to be.
No,
I think he did.
Tobias was having a way better season, and he tries to turn it on for 2 weeks at the end and just gets on in. Like that to me is why Ben won't get better because people won't hold him accountable.
Well, okay, so here's and everyone knows I've been critical of Ben and that whole thing, and this is just my opinion. I hope Ben does get better. I really hope he does. Because he's just if he just shoots five jump shots a game, doesn't even have to be from 3. It can be from the 2 line. It can be a 10-footer. It doesn't matter. If he just shoots consistently, say 5 or 4 shots a game, he's automatically a top 5 player in the league. There's no doubt about it.
He's a top 20 player in the league right now.
But I'm saying if he starts like shooting more consistently,
I want him.
He's a top 5 player.
I want him to start shooting more. But like everyone who goes overboard with the hate, and I'm just like, he's just not very good. I said he's a top 20 player. Like you can love him or hate him. He's a top 20 player in this league.
Pete.
And like I understand that people want him to like, what's up, brother? They want him to score 30 a game. He's a top 20 player in the league who's a 3-time All-Star and is going to be Defensive Player of the Year. Like,
if you go through that top 20 list, Pete, this season he has played himself out of the top 20. That's just
okay. All right, cool. What is he? 22 to 25?
He's like 25 to 27.
I don't think so.
I wouldn't go that far. He's still top 20 in my eyes. He's still top 20
because his defense is just such.
It's a huge asset. It's a huge asset.
Defense. He literally what was he? He lead the league in 3-point passing percentage.
It was something like that, yeah.
Like he's
and what do you call it? Because of Ben, Danny Green's what is it? He has the best 3-point percentage from the corner. Corner. Yeah, so that's because of Ben.
And crazy enough, what do you think happened? Oh wait, they went out and they got guys who could shoot around Ben Simmons, and the team ended up playing better, and everyone gelled better as a team. What?
Yeah,
I'm shocked.
I'm just telling you this from someone that talks to a ton of fans that aren't Sixers fans. I know Heat fans, Buck fans, Celtic fans, Laker fans. I know basically every fan from every team. Around the league, people that I know that had Ben Simmons as the 15th best player in the league now won't even say him in the top 20. Like, it's not even a question, just based off how
I mean, that's fine.
We're doing good as a team. Like, we're doing good as a team, and he's doing what he needs to for us to win. But last season, he was better. That's just what it is. He was better than he was this year, and he took a step back this season. And nationally, he doesn't get that top 20 status because of it.
Yeah,
I will say I'll give him some leeway coming into this season. He was coming off what was it? A broken foot or
it was a broken kneecap.
Okay, a broken kneecap and a broken back, right?
That was.
He had the two injuries last year. The two big injuries last year.
I don't know if it was a broken back. I think it was like a strain or something.
Yeah,
but
it was weird.
Like if you break something in your back, that might arguably be better than if you have a back strain in one of your muscles because he
was coming back again about after two big injuries. Like heading into the off season, there's no injuries. There's and there's another. Not only the fact that there are going to be no injuries. You're going to have more opportunities to give younger guys availability to play. Mike Scott is not on this fucking basketball team anymore. Hallelujah, praise the Lord. I literally am thinking about getting a jersey that says no Mike Scott.
Mike Scott needs to go for sure. And Searle, what I would say to that, Searle, is you should write that as ask the coaches if Ben Simmons is top 20. Because I bet the coaches would tell you that. The players, I'm not talking about the players because I know there's a lot of players in the league that don't like Ben, like completely don't like him, and they have a personal vendetta against him.
So there's one guy who doesn't like him, but that's because he has no testicles.
Yeah, but again,
that's because he's one of those pussies up in Utah.
Yeah, he's still salty about the Rookie of the Year. So
it's not my fault that you can't read a fucking dictionary, bruh.
I know that. I mean, that was ridiculous. That was just ridiculous.
Like, he literally rented out a truck to try and troll him. And the troll was really, you're a 20-something-year-old college graduate who can't read from a dictionary.
Like, the fact that he, not anymore. I don't think he really cares anymore. But
really? After that Utah game that they lost? Oh, he seemed to really.
I still think he doesn't like the Sixers. But as far as like the Rookie of the Year thing, the first 3 years of Donovan Mitchell's career, or 2 years, whatever it was, he was using that as like his main drive of success, like his main reason to go out there and prove other people wrong. Like,
there you go, Kumar. There you go.
I don't get why, like, that was just weird. He is caring way too much about Rookie of the Year. Like, all right, you were not the Rookie of the Year. You just weren't.
You're a clown. He's a clown. Like, I don't know what to tell you. Like, if you watch that, him having a temper tantrum after Utah and him trying to tell people, like, well, the league's out to get us. They're out to get us. You're a member of the Utah bleeping Jazz. Nobody gives two flying bleeps about you.
Oh, now you censor yourself.
Congratulations. Okay. You're for the first time in like forever, something in Utah is memorable. Like,
since Stockton and Malone.
Like, people haven't cared this much about a Utah film thing since High School Musical. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Coaches voted Ben into the All-Star game. That's true.
David also says, Ben is the glue that holds this team together. His impact is immense from the pace of our offense to the defense structure on the team. Players are made in the playoffs, we'll say. And again, this is where he faces the most criticism, right? Because when it comes playoff time, Ben always comes up short or he's always quiet, and they always seem to lock us down because they know Ben won't shoot. And that's my only gripe with Ben.
I'll raise that question is because people do use that, and I understand that.
Yeah, right.
When we were playing the Raptors, right? Because they keep bringing up Ben's shortcomings. I said, are we talking about that if Joel doesn't have a sore tummy ache for two games? Like,
yeah, Ben
wasn't perfect in that series, but he had a few games when Joel just wasn't able to get it done, where he helped rise to the occasion.
It would have been easier for Joel to get it done if we didn't have a guy that's going to, like, every time, and this is what we're going to see a lot from the Bucks if we see them, or the Nets. Every time in that Raptors series, when Ben had the ball, drop.
Yeah.
Joel's getting double teamed every second of offensive possessions because Ben refuses to shoot. That's why Joel Embiid was ineffective.
I'll raise you another one. And here's why I'm not worried about that whatsoever, because this is a system that works perfectly for this team. You can't use a guy like Jimmy Butler on that team because he is so ball dominant. He is not a catch and shoot guy. As much as people want to say that, get mad at me, I think we are a much better team organized right now without Jimmy Butler. Like, Tobias Harris has been a better player over the last few years than Jimmy Butler has. And I'll take it. I have no issue whatsoever.
Tobias has not carried a team to the NBA Finals. All right. Jimmy Butler has been better. And in my opinion, I get where you're coming from, because I think what you're seeing is you see a lot of times when Ben Simmons gets dropped off in the games that we've been watching this season, you know what Doc does? He takes Seth Curry, runs him around Ben's back as a screen, hits a wide open three. That's what Doc has done to kind of draw the defense out.
He's propelled Ben, or not? Well, I think he has propelled Ben in certain areas. He has. But he's turned Tobias Harris into Clipper Tobias, and it's unreal.
Well, and again too, going back to, and some of the fan might remember when they made the deal to sign and trade Jimmy Butler and keep Tobias and sign him to that max contract. I hated it for those. What do you call it? For those, what was it? 2 years before Doc got here.
Well, then we came out and found that we didn't really have a choice. I mean,
we didn't have a choice then. Yeah, no, but I still hated the contract, but it made it. I'm just happy because the only reason I was mad is because I knew the type of player that Tobias could be, and now that Doc is back here, and now that he's back in Doc's system,
it's unreal, man.
Oh my God, it's insane. It's absolutely insane.
I'm honestly so. Like, I'm ready for the fun. Like, I'm ready for the playoffs. But next offseason has me so giddy because of A, the guys we're getting rid of, and B, what Morey could do with a full offseason because of trading, getting trades in, signing players. Because honestly, I love his draft. I'm looking at what these guys could be. Paul Reed, G League MVP. Tyrese Maxey. Potential is right there. And, Isaiah Joe, I feel, could be a killer from three.
I like Isaiah Joe.
I think that Maxey has real – I really would be shocked if – I'm not going to say next year. Maybe he'll fill like a bigger bench role next year, get more minutes. But in 2 years from now, I really would be shocked if he's not starting for the Sixers or for a different team because he's just that good.
Yeah.
He just works that hard. And when you have a player that's that talented, has the work ethic, they're going to go places.
Maxey is very inconsistent. He's turnover prone, and Doc does not trust rookies no matter what.
And that's just always been Doc's thing. But again, we've seen flashes of Maxey. Yeah, he had that 40-point game, and that was all nice, and we all got excited, and that's fine. But we see flashes. We know what he can be. But he's a baby. He's only 20 years old.
You don't need to force him. You don't need to force him out there.
You don't.
You can let him learn from veterans.
Yep.
And let him have his moments here or there. You don't need to force him. You don't need to force a round peg through a square hole. And I say this as a former Brett Brown fan. This isn't a Brett Brown team. You don't need to force guys to be something they're not. Guys will be who they're supposed to be in this organization because you have because you have an owner who is letting the GM make his decisions and the coach make the correct decisions. And the coach and the GM are on the same wavelength. And when was the last time you can say that about a team in Philadelphia?
It's been a while.
For real.
Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah, and another thing, you brought up Brett Brown. Everyone knows that it was time for Brett Brown to go. It was just clear. But the people that were saying Brett Brown should have been fired from year 2, we should have got rid of him.
Like, get out of here.
Like, what I appreciate about Brett Brown is the work that he did transitioning us from the teams that couldn't win a game to save their life to being a team that could fight. He taught those guys how to really play basketball, especially Embiid, because he hasn't really played basketball at all in his career. So
I think Brett developed a lot of guys, and they just don't want to give him credit for it because they hate him. And they're like, oh, he didn't develop him or him. And they're like they're using guys as an example. Oh, he didn't develop Jahlil Okafor. And I'm like, cool, no one else has either.
Brett,
this isn't 1993. No one's fucking developing guys.
I was going to say, if it was like 20, 30 years ago, Jahlil Okafor would actually be a good player.
Yeah.
20, 30 years ago.
Brett as a coach is a regular season coach. That's fine. Like,
I don't even think he's a regular season coach, Johnny. I really don't. I think he's just like an assistant coach.
I think they could be a successive team. Like,
I think that if Brett got hired to be the coach of the Oklahoma City Thunder, I think he could do something positive. Positive, at least, because he knows how to be a coach of a team that's in that state. The Sixers we needed someone that had more experience than Brett. And like it or not, Brett got more out of Ben Simmons than Doc has so far.
I don't think so.
I don't think so.
We got to see the playoffs, but as far as
to me, as far as like Brett Brown, at least in my opinion, he was just a guy that was really supposed to be a stopgap through the process, and then that was really it. I mean, again, we got lucky with Jimmy Butler and that whole situation. But if, say, hypothetically, if the Kawhi shot doesn't go in, maybe we're talking about a championship and Brett Brown's the head coach. But obviously,
I think we are. But that's my problem with what you said, Pete, about how we're better than the Jimmy Butler team. I get what you're saying about the thing and how Jimmy, like, he was ball dominant, but we needed that presence in series like the teams against the Raptors. And Jimmy he was that guy. He was the go-to guy for us. I still need to see, and I love Joel Embiid. I don't know yet. I'm going to say I don't know. I'm not going to say he can't. I don't know if a center can be the guy that you get the ball to and he can ISO, because we've seen him try to do that, and sometimes doubles make him pass out or doubles make a turnover, where if we have Jimmy on our team, we know Jimmy's getting a bucket. That was the motto of the entire series.
I don't exactly remember it that way in the Toronto series.
Well, I remember Jimmy Butler scoring the tying bucket before the Kawhi.
I remember that. I'm just saying, I don't think he was as good in Toronto series as people remember.
Or what about Game 6 when he scored, or Game 2 when we were on the road and he stole one by scoring 37? How about that one?
That's a good one. I'll give you that.
Yeah. So I just don't think that this team can be said better than that, because we had a true alpha.
Here's my thing with Jimmy.
Alpha.
He's great until he's not. He's a great teammate until he's not.
Yeah.
He's a team first guy until he's not.
He's not, right.
Let's just see, because remember what happened earlier in the season over in Miami when things weren't going well. The real Jimmy started to come out, and he started to get a little chippy.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Let me head into next season. Head into next season where some of those younger players aren't pulling their weight, and you know what? You know what it's going to be time for? All right, I'm playing with the G League players, and we're gonna have a game of 21.
But here's my thing.
That's normal behavior.
Here's my thing. Plain and simple. If we make it to the Eastern Conference Finals, which I expect us to, we're already better than the Jimmy Butler team. That's just how it is.
Yep.
That's just how it is.
You got to look at context, though. Like
Here's the
Jimmy Butler
context.
team, if the Jimmy Butler team is about to play the Hornets and the Hawks, they would be
It
walking.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter now.
You play who you're in front of. Like,
Right. You play who's
I
in
look
front
at
of you.
this team, and we're better from top to bottom. The bench is better. The coach is better. The
coach is definitely better.
Gel together better. Like
The coach is definitely better, even though I was saying Brett Brown is a little bit overhated. The coach is definitely
I
better.
don't think so.
I think he's
fine.
I think he's slightly overhated, and I'm like a big Brett guy, but even I feel he needed to go. Even if I wasn't a billion% on board with Doc coming in, because I had obviously I look like a dumbass now, and he's proven me wrong in every facet of the game, him coming here. And I'm okay with that. I love being right.
I love Jimmy Butler.
I do not.
I love Jimmy Butler.
Anyone who watches this show knows I like flapping my lips. I like telling someone to kiss my rear.
Mm-hmm.
And I love being right. But you know what?
Tip the cap.
Cap is off. The cap is off to Doc Rivers. Because you know what? You proved me wrong. You made me look like a stupid son of a gun. And more power to you.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing hire. I was 100% wrong, and I have no issue saying it live on air.
Last thing I want to say to you, Jake, about Brett.
Okay.
Tell me what coach is going to make that roster last year that had no fit a winning team? None. I mean, that situation is just a terrible situation. You have a situation where because of contracts given out by the GM, the owners are telling Brett every night, Al Horford better be starting. He's not coming off the bench. Al Horford better be a starter, and that ruins everything when it comes to Joel Embiid spacing, Ben Simmons spacing. We know how much I hate Josh Richardson. All right, I've been one of the biggest favorites.
I thought he was going to be really good, and then the fact that he just whatever it was about being on this team, he just magically forgot how to shoot threes.
Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't a huge fan of the Al Horford signing when it happened.
I'm giving this one
really good, and then it went to shit real bad.
I'm giving this one right for everyone at home. Ready for this one?
Oh, I know. I saw it.
What was that?
JT hitting a home run.
JT just hit a moonshot.
That's sexy.
Yeah, I was going to say, but you guys were in the middle of your point. He threw it back.
Baby. BCIB.
Oh, I'm too far behind. All right.
Phillies are, what do you call it? Phillies are up 11-2 in the top of
nice
the
little cracking the Braves open, when they have their full stadium open for business.
3-4 versus the Phillies, just saying.
Their first game where they have the full stadium and all the fans are ready to see the Braves go out. They're ready to see Acuna. And what happens? 11-2.
I watched their fans in the stands, and I cringe a little bit just looking.
I think they have they said 38. They have 38,000 right now. 38,000 fans in tennis green.
Well, I mean, we know the Braves fans don't even know the best player's name, so.
Oh, I was gonna say because none of them had masks or anything like that.
Well, yeah, that's a part of it, but
I was gonna say, do they have the no restrictions anymore?
Yeah, I mean, really, it doesn't look like COVID even exists, honestly.
Well, I figured because now you're starting.
Not many brain cells exist in Atlanta, so I'm not surprised.
Well, you're starting to see more places open up. I think, and like I said, I think a couple months ago, I think by midsummer, I think we'll be mostly back to normal. Just by the way, and vaccinations are going to that whole thing. But I don't want to delve into that because that's the topic. So, but actually, I guess technically it is because hopefully things open up enough in time for playoffs, so we can actually
normal and be at sporting events. You know what I mean?
My God. Well, I think it would be perfect is if things open up, I think, by Sixers postseason, whether it be the first series or the second series. I mean, if that happens, you're going to have sold-out crowds every night.
I don't know if they're going to get full indoor capacity, but I think that they could definitely do half. I feel like, especially where we are now, half is reasonable. And I was looking to see because the Texas Rangers were having full stadiums. Texas, all right, we got to take it with a grain of salt. But they were having full stadiums since really the start of the season, and that hasn't been shut down yet. So it seems like it's going pretty well.
Yeah,
they have a full stadium, but literally no one's in the stands because of the Texas Rangers.
I mean, for the first series, everyone just wanted to show up because it was a sports game. So
and then it was holy shit, they're the Texas Rangers. Let's go home.
Exactly. Exactly.
But before we move on real quick, I just want to do like a quick win-loss because the Sixers only have, let me put it up real quick, we have 5 games left. So just a quick rapid fire, and then we'll talk a little bit of Eagles real quick since obviously we didn't get a chance to really give our thoughts on the total draft. Obviously, if you guys didn't see the draft show last week, I definitely recommend you check that out if you haven't already. But all right, so tomorrow, Sixers versus Pistons. Who you got, Sixers or Pistons?
Pistons.
Pistons, okay.
No, I'm kidding. Sixers.
I was going to say.
I'm embarrassed.
All right. Tuesday, Pacers.
Sixers.
Okay. Sixers, Heat. Speaking of Jimmy Butler.
Heat.
Sixers.
Heat,
Okay.
because we just played a lot of games in a row. I think we're going to lose that one.
Right. And then Friday and Sunday, their Sixers' last 2 games are against the Magic.
Hot take. I think we rest all of our guys on those 2 games.
On Friday? Yeah,
No, Friday and Sunday. I think we'll have this thing so wrapped up we won't even need to play them.
I mean, I hope so. Pete. I hope you're right.
All out, and in the finale against the Miami, and then the G Leaguers can play on Friday and Sunday.
Yeah, no. I'm perfectly fine. I'm perfectly fine with that.
Alec Boehm just got called on a strikeout on the pitch in the dirt. And
I saw that, yeah.
If it wasn't 11-2, Joe Girardi would get thrown out, but I think he just doesn't care.
Yeah, Marky, it's going to be Thursday and Friday are going to be the 2 back-to-back. So I think, like Pete said, I think they're going to start resting them come Friday and Sunday's game. So,
oh yeah,
I wouldn't even worry about the back-to-backs.
As soon as it's clinched, we're resting.
Yeah, and at the direction we're going, I think we pretty much have it clinched. Depending on obviously if we lose out, but I don't see that happening because
the Nets got to play the Nuggets, I think, tomorrow. So,
yeah, because right now we're what after tonight's game we're up 3.5.
We're up 3 games on them, so we really just need 2 wins for us or 2 losses.
Technically
for them.
3.5.
Okay.
We have the tiebreaker.
So
right.
Do we have 5 games or 6 games left?
We have 5.
All right, so 2 and 3. That's all we got to do to lock it down.
Right.
So it's really easy.
Lock it up.
Yep.
Lock it up.
Clamp them.
Yeah. Clamp it up. But
do my best Futurama impression.
Yeah. So
all
obviously,
right, go on the Eagles.
Obviously, last weekend was NFL draft weekend. A lot of teams had made some good picks. A lot of teams made some really questionable picks, and a lot of people were happy. I think a lot of us can say we were all really, really happy with this draft. At least I was. I know I was. But I think from top to bottom, I think, to be honest, the Eagles had a really, really, I'm not going to say amazing draft, but they had a really solid draft for the first time in a while. And I can't believe I'm saying that. I think Devontae Smith is a huge acquisition, obviously. And that's going to be, obviously, the big name that's going to be tattooed on this draft. But just from top to bottom, here's what we'll do. We'll start from, the first round, and then we'll just work our way down. And then we can give our breakdowns and so on and so forth. So, obviously, last week, the Eagles traded up in division with the Dallas Cowboys to the 10th pick and drafted Devontae Smith, Heisman Trophy winner, the best wide receiver in Alabama's history if you're looking at statistics. To me, that's an A+. That's an A+ right there. That's an A+ right there. You got a guy in Devontae Smith that's just a day one starter who's going to be a day one impact player, in my opinion. And I just think he's going to be a real. I'm not going to praise him and say gold jacket type of guy just yet, because I need to see how he does at the next level. But he's going to be a serious Pro Bowl to All Pro caliber player, I think, in this league for a long time.
Jake, what did I say 3 months ago on this show?
What?
Devonta at 6.
Yeah.
What I've been saying? What have I been saying?
Mm-hmm.
Devonta Smith at 6. Keep it simple, stupid.
Mm-hmm.
They call this guy is called the Slim Reaper for a reason, because he takes lives. It doesn't matter if it's deep. It doesn't matter if it's in a screen. He murders guys in the slot.
Yeah.
My favorite thing with Devonta is you know how they keep throwing up the J.C. Horn stats about who he's locked down and everything. They always leave out one guy, and that was Devonta Smith, because Devonta took his lunch money, went back to his house, stole from his mama and grandma, and then went home.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that is the type of player Devonta Smith is. He is a baller and a bona fide shot caller. He is a PIMP.
And I mean, I would love. I mean, I don't know how the Eagles' season is going to go, but I would love to see the Eagles get a chance at Derek Stingley next year. Jake knows how good he is, but literally, when I was watching Devontae Smith go up against Derek Stingley, who is the no doubt bona fide best corner in all of the entire college football.
Yes,
he looked like an NFL practice squad player. Like, he was getting turned, he was getting beat off the line. They tried to press him. He just could not do anything with him. And people really are going to see, I think, in my opinion, that the size does not matter at all. And I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but I have a real feeling that he's going to be viewed as the best receiver in this draft.
Yep.
Yeah. No,
and I know that Jake and I love Jamar Chase, but I think Devonta's going to have a more productive season because our offensive line is definitely better than the Bengals. Like,
there you
for
go.
sure.
That's because our quarterback tore his ACL in 3 games.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully, I really hope Joe can pull some magic out of his hat and stay healthy. But the Bengals really did not set him up for success when it comes to the offensive line.
No, and they had a guy that was right in their lap, and they decided to. And I'm not surprised.
I get really a bar. Like, it's too much to pass up, right? It's too much to pass up.
It's not, though.
Pairing those two guys together again. Like, as a fan of the Bengals, I don't know if as a fan I could have said that's a bad pick.
Like, I could have.
I know a lot of Bengals fans who are saying that.
I get that, but also those Bengals fans aren't, like, they're probably much older than I am. Like, me as a fan, I love the big play. I loved watching Jamar Chase and Joe Burrow at LSU absolutely light up the league. And
I'll counter that. You can't exactly make those big plays if you're on your ass.
I get that.
But 33 times last year. I understand how you can watch the picture where his legs are crossed out like this, and you see the 6-foot-long scar on his knee.
Yeah,
and you're like,
bad.
Yeah, wide receiver time, baby.
I mean,
there's this big, huge mother guy who's over in Oregon. Nah, let's go get his buddy. He can block for him, right?
I get what they're trying to do with, like, Jamar, because he's a great talent in my opinion. And their philosophy was, right, we're going to get an offensive line in the 2nd round, 3rd round. We trust our scouts enough to get those guys in the later rounds. But at the same time, they better hope that works, because if not, Joe Burrow's career could be over quickly.
Let me ask you. I'll say this: I hope Jamar Chase knows how to block Jadeveon Clowney and Myles Garrett. You have fun with that, sir.
Yeah,
you have fun trying to block that dinosaur.
Yeah.
How do you feel that you're now going to be rooting on the guy that, in most people's eyes, ruined Carson Wentz's career?
I mean, I don't like some of the dirty things he does. He's still a very talented player. But I don't like the fact that he hit Carson. I put more fault on the league than Clowney.
Not doing anything about it, yeah.
Yeah, because it's just like, obviously the hit happened. But I'm like, the fact that you didn't go out of your way to call it dead right there and be like, oh, clearly he's on his own. He's a defenseless player. Yep. That's bullshit on the league.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
All right, so
and please, we have an Eagles team with a domestic abuser on it. Like,
so Jake, do you want to get into like pick by pick and just go from
that was my plan? Yeah, just go from pick to pick and then just break it down to the best that we can. So, obviously, 2nd round, number 37, we take center out of Alabama, Landon Dickerson. Now, I remember before day 2 of the draft, I was talking to Ryan about it. I'm like, do not be surprised if the Eagles take a center or an offensive lineman in the second round. He's like, oh, no, I don't see that happening. Well, alone and behold. Now, again, this pick has come with a lot of criticism, which I understand with because it's been a lot of injuries and stuff like that. 2 ACL tears. I think he had 2 ankles too. I could be wrong.
Yeah, in high school.
Yeah, so the guy has had a lot of injuries in his college career and just during his playing career. I understand the concern, but if Landon Dickerson pans out and he's able to stay healthy,
that's
and
money.
Play at a consistent level. You're talking about an old pro caliber player, and
that's a top 20 player in this draft if he's healthy.
Oh, and there's no question. And I was listening to, I was watching one of Baldy's breakdowns, Brian Baldinger's breakdowns, which are fantastic, by the way.
Everyone should watch.
He was saying, what do you call it? He's like, if he's healthy, he's the next Quentin Nelson.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. So
he play all 5 positions. That's Mike Kaye was talking about that when they drafted him. Of what is he? Oh, NewJersey.com.
Okay.
And he was talking about Dickerson, and everyone's like, oh yeah, he's a bench player for this year, and he's like, I don't know about that. He was talking about the fact that if Dickerson's healthy, he might be able to steal the job away from Isaac Seumalo.
He very well could. He absolutely could. And if he's healthy come training camp and that whole thing, and he plays well in the preseason, I don't see why not.
As a group, I think A2D is very split on this pick. Like I've heard a ton of people say we love the pick. We think that he could be really good for the Eagles. And we also hear a ton of people that recognize how talented he is, but are seriously looking at the questionables with his injury history. And I don't really need to reiterate like the two sides of it. Like, oh, if he stays healthy, we all know like this and that. But like it really does take a lot of hopefulness on our part. Like every time we're gonna watch this guy, we're gonna be like Joel Embiiding. We're gonna be like, ugh. Like we're gonna be really hoping and praying to God that he doesn't get injured.
Right.
Even with that said, I do think this was a good pick, and I think that the value is just too good to pass up at that spot.
And I'll say this about Dickerson is that a lot of people, like obviously I wanted Asante Samuel Jr. bad. But I still have no issue with the pick because here's the thing. This isn't a we need to fix everything right now pick. This is a next year we have 10 picks and 3 possible first-round picks. That's the type of pick Landon Dickerson is a forward-thinking pick to where we might not have Brandon Brooks next year or Jason Kelsey or Lane Johnson. We might tell them to sayonara and see you later. And the fact that Landon Dickerson could play all 5 positions does a lot for me.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Just positional depth.
Draft Tech, I think, which is one of my favorite draft boards, draft places, as opposed to a lot of the NFL ones to where it's just so hit or miss.
Right.
I think they gave us an A on the pick because they could see like what the potential is for this type of guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And there's no doubt about it. When you talk about positional depth, he can play all 5 positions like we've touched on. And we have, to be honest, if our line stays healthy, we have really good depth.
Yeah. We have a really good line, great depth. A lot of depth, really. I mean, that's something that people are overlooking, I think. And I don't expect the Eagles to completely light the world on fire. But when people say, like, oh, the Eagles are going to be 3-win team, like, I just can't believe that because I feel like our defensive line and offensive line are still very, very good. And
I had this at 4 before the draft, and afterwards, I think I might be moving towards the 6 or 7 variety.
Yeah, I think 6 or 7. Like, so I think especially right now with a 17-game season, I think 7 and 10 is completely.
I think Howie has done look. Obviously, it's Bleep Howie season still because I still 100% trust him, even after they went out and got my guy. But here's the thing, like. You got a guy in Dickerson who can help that line. Yep. You can sit him behind guys and learn for a year, or you can start them. Like he has that potential to start at 5 position. But they went out and they got guys to help to help Jalen Hurts. You got him a number 1 wide receiver. You drafted a running back to help take some pressure off Miles Sanders. They went out and they got an O-lineman in Landon Dickerson. Just today, they went out and they signed
Kerryon Johnson, the running back.
Johnson, who
I love that move.
Has a lot of good football to play and adds a lot to your running back room.
I agree with that, Pete, because I think that Kerryon Johnson, he had some injury issues. He had a great college
career. There's no one to block for him. There's no one to block for him in Detroit.
For sure, like
there you go. There it is.
An absolute terrible situation.
Shit. Let's see what he can do when he's being blocked by Brandon Brooks and Lane Johnson and Jason Kelsey and guys like that.
For sure.
But I think it really depends too, because obviously you guys already said it. The running back room is intensely crowded right now.
Hot take. I think honestly, and it's wild. I think they could honestly carry 5 running backs. I know it's so. Like I have no issue with that, but I say 5. I say 4 or 5 because this team always has injury issues when it comes to running back. So I could 100% see them for like the first like 4 or 5 weeks put like a Kerryon Johnson or like a Jordan Howard on some bullshit 4 to 6 week injury thing just to be on the safe side in case one of their big guys goes down. Like a Boston Scott, like a Miles Sanders. Because Sanders can't stay healthy. Sanders keeps missing time. So I could 100% see why they would go out and they would bring a Johnson in. But obviously we're getting distracted and we got to get back to round 3, right, guys?
Yep.
We'll get right to that in a second. But I do want to touch on that point, though, real quick. Kerryon Johnson, to me, it's a low-risk, high-reward type of stuff. I mean, the guy's only what? I think he's like 23 years old.
Yeah, he was drafted in 2018.
So he still has a lot of football left in him. And to me, if we do end up with like 4 running backs on the 53-man, okay, that's fine. But if we stick with 3, it's Jordan Howard and Boston Scott, bye-bye. That's what that says to me. But moving on to the 3rd round. Now this, I think for a lot of people, was the most criticized pick of the 2021 Eagles draft. Milton Williams out of Louisiana Tech.
Can I start with this?
Yes.
Here's what I think about this pick, right? I like Milton Williams as a player. I really do. I know nothing about him, so I'm not going to act like I scouted him or did all this research on him like a bunch of fans want to tell you that, like, oh, I scouted Milton Williams. I know all this and that about him. I didn't know anything about him. But I did do some research on him, and a lot of scouts and draft analysts love him as a prospect because of the skills that he possesses, the athleticism. He was an absolute combine warrior. All right, he was a combine beast as
Aaron Donald
that position. And
I hate that comp, by the way.
Yeah, well, yeah. What was it, Aaron Donald? Everyone's saying he's Aaron Donald.
I hate that comp. I hate it so much.
Yeah, that's just a lot.
I hate player comps in general.
So do I.
Because it either A, puts way too much pressure on the guy, or B, it's just such a ass backwards comp to where you're just like, where did this even come from?
Right.
Yeah, and this pick is really being scrutinized because of that video that came out with the Eagles draft room.
I kind of believe, like, as much as I don't want to believe Howie, I kind of actually do believe him because they're not in a fight over a corner. I think because they said what happened was they wanted another D lineman that Donahue wanted, and he got.
Here's my issue with Donahue, though, Pete. You see all those guys in the room who love the pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. You are not like Donahue. Like, we know he's a respected individual who has built a lot of NFL teams, but I also respect Andy Weidel. I also respect a lot of those other scouts that are in the room.
They all seem to really like it.
That all really love Milton. I respect Jonathan Gannon as the defensive coordinator. So I don't love how everyone's just jumping on Tom Donahue's side as he's a 65-year-old man throwing a hissy fit that he didn't get his choice in the 3rd round of the draft. Like, sometimes you're not going to agree with the pick. That doesn't mean you're up there doing like, come on. Like, a lot of people are just taking that and like, oh, the Eagles are a dysfunctional organization. They're just dysfunctional. Like, that part of Tom Donahue's fan club who just run to him, that pissed me off a little bit because I feel like what Howie's saying is very fair. All right. A lot of times people in draft rooms don't always agree on the pick, and that's just what it is.
Yeah, I don't know. Just kind of. Well, I watched the video a couple times, and Howie looked confused. That's what really like drew me to it. Because like, Tom Donahue's pissed, and then you see Howie like look at the screen. He's like, you see his hands. He's like, what? What happened?
Yeah, he's like, what is your problem? That's basically what he's saying.
Yeah, he's like, what happened?
It's clear the majority of the staff likes him. Like it's clear the majority of the staff like this is the guy that they wanted.
Mm-hmm.
It's clear.
And you know what? If Tom Donahue really doesn't like the pick that much, he can go to another NFL team and get a job. I mean, he's been in the league this long, so I think that it's getting overblown. Like he's going to stay with the Eagles. He's not going to quit because of a draft pick. Like it's getting overblown.
I'll keep a guy that built a what do you call it? That's built a Steelers dynasty. I'll keep him around. If he gets a little mad about something, I'll be fine. But
yeah, for sure.
I'll take him all day. But again, I hope he pans out. I think we will see him this year a little bit because of like depth and giving Hargraves a rest and giving Fletcher Cox a rest, and apparently he can play defensive end too. So I mean, we'll see.
I think he's better off at defensive end because of his size. A lot of people talked about how his weight is not where it should be for a defensive tackle, and the fact that he has elite speed, I think at that size lends him to be more of a defensive end. But
and he's a strong guy too, so that helps. It helps push linemen around and stuff like that. So we'll see. It's just about how you can make that transition to the next level, and that's the big question mark, I think. Because when you come from a conference like Louisiana Tech, you already have a chip on your shoulder because people are going to doubt you, and because of playing on Wednesday nights and not Saturdays, they're automatically going to judge you because people just don't know who you are.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes those guys turn out to be the best players, but we'll see. I'm not crowding the guy saying that he's going to be this all-world type of player, but we'll see. We'll see. He's a project guy, and we'll see.
Yeah, for sure.
So round number 4, Zach McPherson out of Texas Tech. Now, again, another guy not coming out of like a real big school, didn't pan out at Penn State, found his way in Texas Tech. I mean, I don't hate it, but I feel like since you waited this long to the 4th round, you had to take a corner. Like there was no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You had to take a corner there. But I don't know. I'm just not a huge fan of this pick.
I saw some people give it some high marks. I know he was really high on Daniel Jeremiah's board, so that kind of makes me feel a little bit better. Like I tend to trust Daniel Jeremiah when it comes to drafts.
Oh, sure.
This was a guy who was ready to punch people last year over them taking Rager over Jefferson. So
yeah, and the thing about the Zach McPherson pick that interests me, like I like what all these analysts have been saying, how he could be a steal pick. He could be an impact corner maybe. But we're going to see really early on what he is because the Eagles' cornerback depth chart lends him to be thrown into the fire. And I think that he has a huge opportunity to maybe earn a spot as even a starter maybe. Like it's possible because of the depth chart. So we're really going to see what he's made of early. And
what corners are even on the roster, like at this point? Like,
we got Slay, we got Zach McPherson, we got Maddox, and then we got a bunch of guys that we picked up off the street. That's about
a bunch of nobodies. So, but again, it doesn't mean we still can't pick people up because come June 1st,
Nelson,
we still might make some moves. Or who?
Nelson.
Steven Nelson. I mean, I'll take Nelson, but I've heard Richard Sherman's name thrown around, which
Sherman had a 120 passer rating last year. I'm good.
Yeah,
but people that also.
He even named some of the teams he was talking to, and he didn't name us. So please and thank you.
I would just say this about some people that don't like the Zach McPherson pick. Like you cannot like it. I think that's perfectly fine. But the people that are saying he didn't work out at Penn State, so therefore he's not good. Like
Joe Burrow.
A lot of times, college players that transfer, that's not all about how good they are as a player. Justin Fields, we saw him transfer from Georgia.
Oh, sure, yeah.
in Ohio State. And as a program, Penn State is not what it used to be. It's been on the decline. I know this as a Penn State fan for the first however many years of my life until now I got to go to West Virginia and wave the pom-poms and forget Penn State. But yeah.
Way to go to a university with class there, Johnny.
Yeah.
That's a school you can proudly root for.
Oh, goodness.
But yeah, the transfer thing, like Zach McPherson, I think that shows real awareness on his part. And a lot of people are saying that he was a really smart kid. He graduated from Penn State early, got to Texas Tech, got a master's. So I feel like that really matters, especially when you're talking about players and how quickly they can pick up things in the league.
Kid.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
It's a way. I like
that's exactly player, what it is.
But I want to see more. I obviously want to see him play.
Yeah.
Yep. So moving on to the 5th round, this I think could potentially be the steal of the draft. Kenneth Gainwell, running back out of Memphis. I love this pick. I love this pick because you get a dual-purpose running back who can play wide, who can catch the ball out of the backfield, who can play a little wide receiver. And he's just so dynamic. And just we've seen guys come out of Memphis. They've had a lot of success in the league at running back these past couple of years. So I am again, he's a smaller guy, but at the same time, I'm just very, very excited to see what we can have with Kenneth Gainwell and just this young running back core like we talked about earlier. Now that you're adding Kerryon Johnson along with Miles Sanders, I just think it gives Miles Sanders some rest, and you just have these young guys. I just love seeing this youth movement. You know what I'm saying?
Don't tell Matthew Berry that.
Yeah.
No, don't tell Matthew Berry that. He's going to have a goddamn conniption.
Conniption, I know.
Yeah, I would say.
Like, why does he randomly hate Miles Sanders?
I don't know.
I mean, as far as bringing up Matthew Berry, I would expect for anyone that's going to play fantasy football next year, don't draft any Eagles running backs high, okay? It's going to be purely by committee, I think, especially with Sirianni's offense. And we saw what Antonio Gibson was able to do with the Redskins. He was really, really big for them last year. And he came from that Memphis system. He has a lot of the same skills. He might be faster. He might be more talented than Gainwell. But he has a lot of the same skills that Gainwell has as far as catching the ball, being moved outside as a slot receiver in many passing sets. I'm really excited to see what the Eagles are going to do with him, really.
Yeah, and Jesse also asked a question here. What happens with Howard and Boston Scott? To me, Jordan Howard, I think he's the odd man out.
I think he's done, honestly.
I think he's done, and it's a shame because I think that shoulder injury that he had to have surgery on, I think it's a lot worse than people would like that let it on to be, because obviously we saw in Miami.
He might be cooked.
He only got, I think, like he got under like 10 carries during like his whole tenure in Miami.
Yeah, they paid him that big money, and then he went there and he did really nothing. I mean,
I don't know. I really, and I think it's just going to be one of those stories that we'll never know. That we'll never know about what really happened to Jordan Howard.
It's just sad because like he's still really young. He's still a really young player.
He's only like, I think he's like my age, 26, 27. I think he's only
he's
still young.
He has a really nice skill set, but I feel like injuries have just gotten to him, and I don't see the value of keeping him on the team when we have all these other running backs, especially with Kerryon Johnson, who I would love to see make the team.
I think he will.
Jordan Howard, like he's not as explosive as he used to be. He's clearly lost a step. He doesn't. I mean, we had him last year. We didn't play him. We didn't have any other running backs to play, and he didn't play. So
yeah. And Boston Scott. Yeah, and Boston Scott. I'll what do you call it? He's only good for me for playing the Giants. No offense, but
yeah, Gainwell is going to be a better version of Boston Scott. I feel like
I literally got cursed out last year because I said I wanted to go out and I wanted a veteran running back to be my running back too. And they're like, "We don't need a running back too. We have Boston Scott."
Oh my god! You know how many people I argued with like on social media with that? I'm like, you're literally crowning Boston Scott.
Look, Look, here's the thing. I want Boston Scott on my team for the next 10 years as long as we play the Giants. If I can just keep him somewhere and then for those 2 games pull him out and be like, do your stuff, buddy.
Yeah. It's a good point. But Red Sand also says too, well, they have to stay healthy through camp, including Kerryon Johnson, 4 running backs most
20
likely.
touchdowns, Giants or something.
I forget. It was something along those lines. I forget exactly what it was, but all right. So in the 6th round, we obviously made 2 picks in the 6th round. Both defensive linemen, which I don't think we're going to spend much time on this, but
No.
Marlon, I'm not even going to pronounce his last name, defensive tackle out of USC.
Call him Marlon. Just call him Marlon.
Yeah, just Marlon. But
Although I will add something about this pick real quick. How he said that they had a 3rd round grade on him, so take it what you will with that. That may just be talk, but
Talk.
Yeah, I would say that's just talk to me, because if you're giving a 3rd round pick on a guy that fell all the way to the 6th round, then I'm not buying that for a second. I mean, maybe, I don't know. I don't see much out of him.
Honest, in any other year, it's talk, but in this draft, 100%.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, we're also talking about a player who was picked. We just talked about Gainwell, who I feel like if Gainwell didn't opt out, he could have been potentially as high as a late 2nd round pick.
Yeah, I think so. The 2nd or 3rd round pick. Yep. But let's see, the other 6th round pick, Teron Jackson, defensive end out of Coastal Carolina, another guy who, okay, if he makes the team,
yep,
I'll be excited. But
he has his fan club. I've seen a lot of Eagles fans that watch Coastal Carolina love him because he tore up that league. Really, he tore him up. He had a great production, but that's not the NFL. So we're gonna have to see if that carries over. First off.
Yeah, and then obviously one of my LSU guys, Jacoby Stevens, linebacker. I know people are hyping up Jacoby Stevens.
Thanks, boy.
And they've asked me like,
I like him.
I like him too, and I've had people like this past week tell me like, oh, what do you think of Jacoby Stevens? Do you like the pick? Do you not like him? What do we need to know? He's a good kid. He's a smart football player, but he's another one of those tweener guys, to where he can play safety or linebacker. The Eagles view him as a linebacker as of right now. So, I mean, we'll see. And with how this linebacking core is, he's going to get a chance. He's definitely going to get a chance. So, I mean, we'll see.
Worse than Nate.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesse said Teron Jackson looked like Lawrence Taylor in the Sun Belt Conference. Yeah.
Can't be any worse than Nate. So.
Jesus.
A man amongst boys in that conference, really.
Yeah, really. But I don't know. We'll see when it comes to Jacoby Stevens. We'll see. I mean, he made some plays here and there. He did have a highlight. He had 2 highlight plays. I remember last year to where he had a one-handed interception. Then he absolutely popped Devontae Smith.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
But I mean, other than that, he played limited snaps at LSU. But again, he had a lot of fantastic players in front of him, so I get it. But we'll see. We'll see. I mean, if he ends up being like a steal and he ends up playing a lot of snaps this year, then I'll be dancing. But as of right now, to me, I think he's just going to be a guy and a depth piece that we'll see for a little bit. Like we'll see like a couple snaps here and there. But other than that, I don't see him making like a huge contribution. If he does, I'll be genuinely surprised.
Bye, Pete.
Yeah, he'll be back, but he'll be back. Red Sun also says at least he played at LSU where everyone can play. He has limitations, but is minimal. We know he can play the game. No, absolutely. And again, I think a lot of people know, and a lot of the fam know, I'm a big time LSU fan. So I know a lot about when it comes to LSU guys specifically, or SEC guys in general. That's just my conference and that's my school. So I got to show respect there. But I mean, we'll see, because and Red Sandset makes a good point. When it comes to LSU players, they all have that dog in them, and they all can play a little bit. I mean, look at Jalen Mills. He was a 7th round pick, and you can say what you want about him, but it was a hit just because it was the 7th round, and he was a starter for however many years. But
for sure.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. And that's another good point too, Red Son. He's a great special teams player. Absolutely.
Yep.
Oh my God, John!
Grades.
Jesus, John. He was actually at the Sixers game.
Clip this and send it to him. Put it on the Instagram page.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone who just had a newborn is just like, you know what I want?
Another
one.
Yeah, this isn't Larry King with a new girlfriend. It's like, get me another one. This one's too old.
But yeah. So whichever one of you guys want to wrap this up. So for the grade for the Eagles 2021 draft, what are you giving it? Whoever wants to go first.
B+.
Pete, go ahead.
I say a B+. You've
B+.
addressed you addressed a lot of needs. You addressed a lot of needs. You had a home run hitter in the first round, and you went out and you got some depth for next year and got a 5th round pick for next year in a star-studded draft where you're going to have 10.
Bye, Pete.
Where you're going to have 3 first-round picks is, I think, what he was going to say. But
yeah, I think that was along the lines of what he was saying. But
I would have to agree with him on B+, I think. I think giving any type of draft an A is kind of foolish because you don't really know where the late-round picks are going to pan out. But I think the Eagles did what they had to do. A lot of people don't like the fact they didn't get a lot of corners, but I think I appreciate what they're trying to go for with their process of this year. We're going to make some picks, players we think may develop into something for next year, and hopefully we can get those 3 first-round picks and we can either turn them into a star player or we can turn them into a bunch of impact rookies that can come out here and make us really into a division champion again.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's going to be a big thing as far as like when you're talking about draft picks. And that's why I think this season in particular, whether we have a good year, bad year, or whatever it may be, I really, at least for me, I really want Jalen Hurts to be successful. I want him to prove himself that he is a franchise quarterback, just because if that does happen, we are loaded for next year. We're absolutely loaded.
That's
and we
so
can
true, because if we have a situation where Jalen Hurts doesn't work out and the Eagles, let's say even if Jalen Hurts doesn't work out, we might be in a situation where we're not at the top of the draft. We might have to trade up to get our guy. And those 3 first-round picks, where if Jalen Hurts works out, we can use those on positions that we don't have.
Those are bonus picks, baby.
Yeah, real quickly fill in the holes. But if we have to go out and get another quarterback, that kind of sets us back, starting over with another rookie. So really, we all want Jalen Hurts to succeed because that's the best case scenario.
I mean, yeah, that's the best case scenario. But again, if he doesn't pan out and it doesn't work out, I mean, you have ammunition to get a starting quarterback in this league.
For sure.
An Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson. Now, I don't want the Russell Wilson or the Aaron Rodgers. I'd love it, but we're nowhere close to competing
exactly
to where that's even going to matter.
Exactly.
So what I'm paying attention to more than anything is the whole Deshaun Watson situation. So if he gets exonerated of all those things and whatever, I think even like if he's like excused or whatever you want to call it, with all of his cases and all the allegations and whatever it may be.
Yeah.
I just don't see how the Texans demand 3 or even possibly 2 first-round picks just because of all the stuff that happened this offseason.
So you think the price would go down?
I think what do you call it? Obviously, I think if he gets exonerated, obviously,
yep.
I think it goes down. If there ends up being some truth behind it, and he does get charged, then obviously that's going to hurt as well. But I think even like just with the huge media stir, I just don't see where the Texans are in any position to demand 3 to possibly 2 first-round picks. I personally don't. But I mean, we'll see.
I feel like the Eagles, I completely agree with you. Like, I don't want any part of Deshaun Watson if he doesn't get fully cleared. In my opinion, I don't want anything to do with that. It's going to be really interesting to see what the NFL does with his situation, because we have guys like Ben Roethlisberger who, calling him a rapist may not be that far-fetched. Like, and he's still in the league, and they let him stay. So,
you different time, man. You had a commissioner who was just passing dudes through.
Yeah, that's a good point, Pete. That's a really good point.
That is true, and I think
you can say what you want about Roger Goodell. Goodell has been very strong and strict when it comes to these type of punishments.
Yeah, and what you said about it being a different time is definitely something that doesn't work in Deshaun Watson's favor.
Nope.
With the time we're living in with social media and everything. So yeah, I mean, the Eagles should be monitoring that situation very closely.
I think sure they are. I can guarantee you they are. So whether or not, we'll see. But I think all being said and done overall, I'm going to give the Eagles draft. I think I'm going to give them a B-. There's some things I didn't like, but I think obviously I know Devontae Smith is going to be a stud. We know that. If Landon Dickerson can stay healthy and be the player that I know that he can be, and a lot of us know he can be, then to me, I think that brings it up to an A-.
Yep.
But we're about to wrap up. Do you boys have anything else before we get out of here?
No,
we did it. We covered it.
All right, then. Guys, it's been another edition of this week's episode of Fan Friday. We appreciate you hopping on. We appreciate the support. We have shows every day on this platform. We have In This Very Ring tomorrow. We have Kicking It Stateside. We have a bunch of shows tomorrow. It's gonna be a jam-packed Saturday for you guys. But before we wrap up, a quick word from our sponsor. We are brought to you by eXp Realty. Looking to buy or sell a home, looking to change your career or brokerage, contact Alan Foy of eXp Realty LLC at 302-682-8820 or visit him on the web, alan.foy@exprealty.com. As always, I'm Jake Friel, John, Pete, and we'll see you guys next week on another edition of Fan Friday. Later, guys.